Everything about the Gavin Christopher Newsom is an American politician and businessman serving since 2019 as the 40th governor of California. His life and everything about him. Part 2. Newsom won the runoff with 53% of the vote to Gonzalez's 47%, a margin of 11,000 votes. He ran as a business-friendly centrist Democrat and a moderate in San Francisco politics. Some of his opponents called him conservative. Newsom claimed he was a centrist in the Dianne Feinstein mold. He ran on the slogan "Great Cities, Great Ideas" and presented over 21 policy papers. He pledged to continue working on San Francisco's homelessness issue. Newsom was sworn in as mayor on January 8, 2004. He called for unity among the city's political factions and promised to address the issues of public schools, potholes, and affordable housing. Newsom said he was a different kind of leader who isn't afraid to solve even the toughest problems. San Francisco's progressive community tried to field a candidate to run a strong campaign against Newsom. Supervisors Ross Mercorimi and Chris Daly considered running, but both declined. Gonzalez also decided not to challenge Newsom again. When the August 10, 2007 filing deadline passed, San Francisco's discussion shifted to talk about Newsom's second term. He was challenged in the election by 13 candidates, including George Davis, a nudist activist, and Michael Powers, owner of the Power Exchange Sex Club. Conservative former supervisor Tony Hall withdrew by early September due to lack of support. The San Francisco Chronicle declared in August 2007 that Newsom faced no serious threat to his re-election bid, having raised $1.6 million for his re-election campaign by early August. He was re-elected on November 6 with over 72% of the vote. Upon taking office for a second term, Newsom promised to focus on the environment, homelessness, healthcare, education, housing, and rebuilding San Francisco General Hospital. As mayor, Newsom focused on development projects in Hunters Point and Treasure Island. He gained national attention in 2004 when he directed the San Francisco City County Clerk to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples, violating a state law passed in 2000. Implementation of Care Not Cash, the initiative he had sponsored as a supervisor, began on July 1, 2004. As part of the initiative, 5,000 more homeless people were given permanent shelter in the city. About 2,000 people had been placed into permanent housing with support by 2007. Other programs Newsom initiated to end chronic homelessness included the San Francisco Homeless Outreach Team, SF-OT, and Project Homeless Connect, PHC, which placed 2,000 homeless people into permanent housing and provided 5,000 additional affordable rental units in the city. During a strike by hotel workers against a dozen San Francisco hotels, Newsom joined Unite Here union members on a picket line in front of the Westin St. Francis Hotel on October 27, 2004. He vowed that the city would boycott the hotels by not sponsoring city events at them until they agreed to a contract with workers. The contract dispute was settled in September 2006. In 2005, Newsom pushed for a state law to allow California communities to create policy restricting certain breeds of dogs. In 2007, he signed the law establishing Healthy San Francisco to provide city residents with universal health care, the first city in the nation to do so. Newsom came under attack from the San Francisco Democratic Party in 2009 for his failure to implement the City of San Francisco's Sanctuary City Rule, under which the city was to not assist U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The same year, Newsom received the Leadership for Healthy Communities Award, along with Mayor Michael Bloomberg of New York City and 3 other public officials, for his commitment to making healthful food and physical activity options more accessible to children and families. He hosted the Urban-Rural Roundtable in 2008 to explore ways to promote regional food development and increased access to healthy, affordable food. Newsom secured $8 million in federal and local funds for the Better Streets program, which ensures that public health perspectives are fully integrated into urban planning processes. He signed a menu labeling bill into law, requiring that chain restaurants print nutrition information on their menus. Newsom was named America's Most Social Mayor in 2010 by Same Point, based on analysis of the social media profiles of mayors of the 100 largest U.S. cities. Newsom gained national attention in 2004 when he directed the San Francisco City County Clerk to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples violating state law. In August 2004, the Supreme Court of California annulled the marriages Newsom had authorized as they conflicted with state law. Still, Newsom's unexpected move brought national attention to the issue of same-sex marriage, solidifying political support for him in San Francisco and in the LGBTQ+ community. During the 2008 election, Newsom opposed Proposition 8, the ballot initiative to reverse the Supreme Court of California ruling that there was a constitutional right to same-sex marriage. Proposition 8 supporters released a commercial featuring footage of Newsom saying the following in a speech regarding same-sex marriage. "This door's wide open now. It's gonna happen, whether you like it or not." Some observers noted that polls shifted in favor of Proposition 8 after the commercial's release. This, in turn, led to speculation that Newsom had inadvertently played a role in the amendment's passage. Newsom filed initial paperwork to run for lieutenant governor in February 2010 and officially announced his candidacy in March. He received the Democratic nomination in June and won the election on November 2nd. Newsom was sworn in as lieutenant governor on January 10, 2011, and served under Governor Jerry Brown. While lieutenant governor, in May 2012, Newsom began hosting the Gavin Newsom Show on Current TV. The same month, he drew criticism for calling Sacramento dull and saying he was only there once a week, adding there's no reason to be there otherwise. Newsom filed initial paperwork to run for lieutenant governor in February 2010 and officially announced his candidacy in March. He received the Democratic nomination in June 68 and won the election on November 2nd. Newsom was sworn in as lieutenant governor on January 10, 2011, and served under Governor Jerry Brown. While lieutenant governor in May 2012, Newsom began hosting the Gavin Newsom Show on Current TV. The same month, he drew criticism for calling Sacramento dull and saying he was only there once a week, adding, "There's no reason to be there otherwise." Newsom was re-elected as lieutenant governor on November 4, 2014, defeating Republican Ron Nehring with 57.2% of the vote. His second term began on January 5, 2015. Newsom supported a failed measure in 2012 that sought to end capital punishment in California. He claimed the initiative would save California millions of dollars, citing statistics that California had spent $5 billion since 1978 to execute just 13 people. In 2016, Newsom supported Proposition 62, which also would have repealed the death penalty in California. He argued that Prop 62 would get rid of a system that is administered with troubling racial disparities and said that the death penalty was fundamentally immoral and did not deter crime. Proposition 62 failed. In 2014, Newsom was the only statewide politician to endorse California Proposition 47, legislation that recategorized certain nonviolent offenses like drug and property crimes as misdemeanors as opposed to felonies. Voters passed the measure on November 4, 2014. In July 2015, Newsom released the Blue Ribbon Commission on Marijuana Policy's final report, which he had convened with the American Civil Liberties Union of California in 2013. The report's recommendations to regulate marijuana were intended to inform a legalization measure on the November 2016 ballot. Newsom supported the resulting measure, Proposition 64, which legalized cannabis use and cultivation for California state residents who are 21 or older. On February 24, 2017, in response to pro-enforcement statements by White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, Newsom sent Attorney General Jeff Sessions and President Donald Trump a letter urging them not to increase federal enforcement against recreational cannabis firms opening in California. He wrote, "The government must not strip the legal and publicly supported industry of its business and hand it back to drug cartels and criminals. Dealers don't card kids. I urge you and your administration to work in partnership with California and the other 8 states that have legalized recreational marijuana for adult use in a way that will let us enforce our state laws that protect the public and our children while targeting the bad actors." Newsom responded to comments by Spicer that compared cannabis to opioids. "Unlike marijuana, opioids represent an addictive and harmful substance, and I would welcome your administration's focused efforts on tackling this particular public health crisis." Newsom joined Long Beach City College Superintendent Eloy Oakley in a November 2015 op-ed calling for the creation of the California College Promise, which would create partnerships between public schools, public universities, and employers, and offer a free community college education. Throughout 2016, he joined Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf at the launch of the Oakland Promise and Second Lady Jill Biden and Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti at the launch of the LA Promise. In June 2016, Newsom helped secure $15 million in the state budget to support the creation of Promise programs throughout the state. In December 2015, Newsom called on the University of California to reclassify computer science courses as a core academic class to incentivize more high schools to offer computer science curricula. He sponsored successful legislation, signed by Governor Brown in September 2016, that began the planning process for expanding computer science education to all state students, beginning as early as kindergarten. In 2016, Newsom passed a series of reforms at the University of California to give student athletes additional academic and injury-related support, and to ensure that contracts for athletic directors and coaches emphasized academic progress. This came in response to several athletics programs, including the University of California Berkeley's football team, which had the lowest graduation rates in the country. Newsom released his first book, Citizenville: How to Take the Town Square Digital and Reinvent Government, on February 7, 2013. The book discusses the Gov 2.0 movement taking place across the nation. After its release, Newsom began to work with the Center for Information Technology Research in the Interest of Society at the University of California, Berkeley, on the California Report Card, CRC. The CRC is a mobile-optimized platform that allows state residents to grade their state on 6 timely issues. The CRC exemplifies ideas presented in Citizenville, encouraging direct public involvement in government affairs via technology. In 2015, Newsom partnered with the Institute for Advanced Technology and Public Policy at California Polytechnic State University to launch Digital Democracy, an online tool that uses facial and voice recognition to enable users to navigate California legislative proceedings. I stop at this point today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the world's incredible stories. Soon, we will publish Part 3. Thank you for watching.